Hello, everyone. Welcome to the end of quite the chaotic week here in my world. I don't know if yours has been like mine, trying to juggle too many things. But today I want to help to calm down both me and you if you need it a little bit. I did something crazy wrong with color in the last couple weeks that made a project that I'm working on take extra long, and I want to show you how you can avoid my color mistake with a little chart that I posted for you to use. I'm also going to be taking us on a little tree reconnaissance since I'm on the final day of my month of May of tree sketches on my Phenology wheel. And I'm also going to announce the winners of the Ohuhu Hex Chart giveaway. So let's get busy, shall we? First, let's just breathe. Listen to the birds. Look at Mother Nature. I've been doing so much of that throughout 2025 as I've been doing Phenology wheels. And during the month of May, I put all the deciduous and flowering trees that I could find into my Phenology wheel, and deciduous trees lose their leaves. So I'm leaving all the pines and conifers and those sorts of things for another month sometime. But this time I created the wheel in alcohol markers. The first half of the month was with Copics and the second with Ohuhu because I wanted to just have a concentrated time with each one to see what the actual difference was if I could put my finger on it. And it was a really good experiment doing daily sketches. I found I could do so much better detail and kind of my dancing lines that I like to do and things like bark with the Copics. The nibs are just much finer, and the Ohuhu markers are chunkier, and they pour out ink so fast that they start to blob really quickly. I struggled with trying to get both drawings to look about the same, and I think I got them both working, but there's just much finer detail with the Copics. So at least now I know the thing that didn't sit right with me when I just said I didn't like the pens. Now I think I can describe more of what it is. But before we get back to that, I need a little more time with Mother Nature. So let's get back to that for a moment so I can tell you about my little travels in the last few weeks. I went to parks all over the area where I live, throughout my town and nearby towns, discovering places that I didn't even know existed really close to me. We even have a whole park just with oak trees. Just all oak trees, huge ones. And it's crazy since I so rarely see an oak in my own town, definitely nothing in my own neighborhood. I'm blessed to be right near Tacoma's Wright Park as well. And while I've spent time there in the past, they have, all kinds of wonderful things there. Recently, I started just walking around and observing the trees themselves, just laying on the grass underneath of them and looking up at them and studying what their leaves look like, how the leaves are attached to the branches. Do they clump up or do they spread out in the canopy? What does the bark look like? Is the trunk straight or wackadoo? And fortunately, they label some of each of the species because at a 27-acre site that has so many native and exotic trees in their collection, they even have a map of the specialty trees, like award-winning trees. Some of them are like 100 years old and more. Now, between all the parks, I found lots of neighborhoods that are much older than my own, and they have trees that are much larger and older than the ones that I walk past every day. I would come home after some of my jaunts and look up all the different species and use the iNaturalist app to identify them. And throughout the month, I just kept adding more of them to my phenology wheel. My focus on different topics each month has changed how I just walk around in my world. Even when I'm just meandering nearby with the pups, I often shush them to just sit and hear the birds after doing a month of birds. And right now it seems to be warbler season around here. I never knew that there were seasons for each of the birds we have. Yeah, I'm not really observant. I guess, but I am now. I'm growing more observant. So the warblers are here. The pine siskin haven't been heard in a while, so the birds are changing. I'm watching plants that I documented in January and trying to see what they look like now that they're budding or even some of them are blooming. And this past month, identifying trees is making me be the idiot who pulls over on the side of the road so I can go meet a tree that looks really interesting and see what it is. Anyway, you might wonder if all of that tree stuff and my traveling around is just for the phenology wheel. And no, I'm not putting that much time and energy into just one page in my book. I am working on a class on trees in alcohol markers. I started by sketching in some of these parks, and I was trying to find matches in Copic and Ohuhu, and I made a gajillion really crazy notes. And not until I was done picking out colors that I was trying to find matches for between the brands did I decide to swatch a chart that I've made before in plenty of other mediums. And this shows me what different colors mix to make. So it's a simple chart. You don't even need mine, but I have it downloadable for you if you want it for free. Just draw a grid of boxes and use the same colors across the top, down the side, and then fill in the rows and columns. And as they crisscross, you'll see what the mixes are. I did find out from this process that to match a Copic YG23, I could use an Ohuhu G120 and Y080, layering them a couple times to make a pretty compatible green. And in my next video, I'll talk a little bit more about some of the matches that I found. I used some of my color combos to glaze over this stippled leaf drawing that I made. And I made the drawing using a black Prismacolor pencil on stipple paper. And if you missed my stipple paper videos, those are linked in the doobly-doo. Yeah, the doobly-doo is going to be full today. Sorry about that. And if you would like to get this printable to make some of the easiest art you will ever color, because you can just do one color over every leaf, links in the doobly-doo for that. It's just a couple of bucks. And imagine what this could look like in fall colors. It's going to be beautiful. The class that I mentioned earlier is going to be one in which you can either turn your drawings into cards, because for each tree we'll do one drawing with a leaf, one drawing with a small tree, and one drawing with a whole scene. Or you can make a sketchbook journal like I'm going to be doing and adding fun facts that I've learned about each of the 6 trees. Or you could make art notes about how to draw or color and that sort of thing. Pre-registration is open for that class with a really nice discount for those who have a hankering to grab your Copics or your Ohuhu markers for this level 3 class. I will email those who register when the lessons start getting posted, so you'll be aware. And just the pre-class lesson is there for right now because I am behind. Links in the doobly-doo. And for those who use Ohuhu markers, there is some detail that's going to be challenging. You may decide you want to use some colored pencil maybe for some of the smaller details in the drawings that we'll be doing. For those who are my Ohuhu art friends, you will likely know why I am delayed on getting to stuff, because due to a silly tech issue, I'm spending way too many hours trying to fix it. So if you already bought the Ohuhu 320 hex chart, you should have an email in your inbox with my sob story. So please do read that. And I'm trying to juggle working on that along with getting this class ready and trying to get some weeding done in my yard because the weather's been nice, as well as visiting all these lovely trees. So speaking of Ohuhu friends, I'm here also to tell you about the winners of the giveaway. In my last video, I showed you I had colored some repeated hex charts. I do that over and over as I develop where the colors all belong. And as I grew the color number from 320 to the full 363, and I made myself not scribble and draw arrows, to move one color from one place to the other, so that I could have a couple of them that were nice and they weren't all scribbled all over, even if the colors weren't in exactly the right places that I wanted them, so I could give them away. So the winners are, drum roll please, Francis Whetstone, CD4JH, Wen Scarlet 9002, Debbie Walker 4704, and Hey Dot Marilyn. Congratulations to the winners. Drop me an email and let me know where I can mail your chart to you this week. And for everybody else, congratulations on making it to the end of this video. On your way down to leave me a comment, hit that like button. And also in your comment, leave a heart with your favorite color to use with your markers. And I know they don't make them in all 363 colors, but, get close. They have a decent selection of heart colors. And I'll see you on Tuesday when we're going to talk about greens. Green matches with Copic and Ohuhu and mixing some specialty greens. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.